Hi, today we're talking about extra virgin olive oil. In the United States, the average American consumes one bottle of extra virgin olive oil each year. Hi, this is Steve from LZ23 Strength, where we exert ourselves, we elevate our health, we evolve in mind and body. And today we're going to be talking about extra virgin olive oil and helping us to accomplish that. Many people know that olive oil is one of the foundations or cornerstones for the Mediterranean diet. And we're going to see how we can use it as another tool in our toolbox to help us have a healthy health span, a long health span, and longevity in our lives. So as I said, here in the United States, we consume about a bottle a year. And it's interesting, I think we all know that olive oil is beneficial for us. We've heard reports about it and stories about it. I love the taste. I know a lot about it, and I was shocked at the one bottle a year. And maybe I do a little bit more, maybe, I'm not sure. I'm going to make a point to it, and I'll let you know at the end what my goal is. But looking at information from other countries, Greece, they consume approximately 24 liters of olive oil each year. And 24 liters is at least 24 bottles. And depending on the size, this one that I have here is a pretty large size, and it's 750 milliliters. So they're doing at least 24 of these, maybe could be closer to 40 or 50 of these. In Spain, there are about 11 to 15 of these, or maybe closer to 25 or 30, depending on the size. And then in Italy, there are somewhere around 9 to 13 of these, or closer to 20 or 25 of these. So our one bottle a year, wow, we're sorely falling behind when it comes to understanding and appreciating the benefits of extra virgin olive oil. Now, observational studies show that there's less heart attacks and strokes and even some cancers by those who consume a heavy or high dose, healthy dose of extra virgin oil in their salads. Some even drink it a little bit, drizzling it on foods. But I'll let you know at the end what my new goal is after I did some deeper digging and seeing what the effects are. So first we're going to talk about what are the benefits to extra virgin olive oil, and then we'll talk about some tips of buying it, because you go into a grocery store or any store and it can be confusing and there's a million to choose from. And just some basic tips. Again, I'm not an expert at this, but just some basic tips of what we might want to look for, and hopefully that'll prove helpful in trying to add this into our arsenal to have a long, good health span and add to our longevity. So extra virgin olive oil is a rich source of healthy fats, antioxidants, and other bioactive compounds. As I mentioned, it's heart healthy. It contains monosaturated fatty acids, which can lower levels of our bad LDL cholesterol and increase levels of good HDL cholesterol. And it has been associated with reducing the risk of heart disease and stroke, which heart disease is still the number one killer here in the United States and worldwide. The majority of people die from heart disease and heart-related disease compared to other illnesses and health issues. So it's something that we want to give attention to. Again, I'm not a doctor, so this is going by all the information that is available out there. And as with everything that I speak about on this channel, I encourage everybody to do your research and to make your decisions based on what you discover, not because I said it or because somebody else has said it. Sometimes that's the easiest way for us. We just want people to tell us what to do, how much to take, how much to work out. But we need to figure it out for ourselves, because we're all individuals and our bodies are unique. Our situations are unique. Our health is unique. So we want to do the research and then come to those conclusions ourselves. But when it comes to vascular health, interesting that the extra virgin olive oil can improve the function of the endothelium, which is the inner lining of our blood vessels, and that can help support better blood flow, which is crucial, especially as we get older, and in regard to having a good cardiovascular health. There's research shows that long-term consumption can help lower both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, which is another important factor when it comes to our heart health. So if it was just heart health, it would be beneficial to give it a try, and probably more than the one bottle a year that we consume. It'd be worth our endeavor just for that aspect, but there's so many other things. It has an anti-inflammatory effect. And many diseases, whether we're aware of it or not, are caused from inflammation in our body. So many of them. Actually, you've probably heard the term inflammaging, that our aging is a process due to inflammatory things that happen to our bodies. So extra virgin olive oil has natural anti-inflammatory effects. So if it's not good enough that just can be heart healthy, the anti-inflammation effects that can have should move us to consider it. Another aspect that I like to talk about on this channel is our cognitive function. Extra virgin olive oil, some studies suggest that it can fight Alzheimer hallmarks. So it can have an impact on our cognitive function as well in our brain. So those are some powerful reasons to consider it. Another one that I recently talked about regarding testosterone, but always talking about it or thinking about it, is our bone health. Extra virgin olive oil can help us to have better bone density. It contains vitamin K, which is essential for having good bone health. So it can improve the bone density, which will reduce the risk of fractures, especially as we get older. It's a necessary thing. We mentioned brain function and cognitive health. It can also help boost our immune system, and also can promote skin health. And as I've talked about before, I'd like to have better skin health, and gives me another reason to look into it as well. Something else that it can help us with is with the blood sugar, diabetes management. Brings out here that meta-analysis found that people with the highest olive oil intake had a 16% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So another compelling reason for us to think about it. Also brought out that it lowers HbA1c. In studies of people with type 2 diabetes, extra virgin olive oil supplementation led to a greater reduction in our HbA1c, a marker for long-term blood sugar control. So it's definitely a good reason for us to consider it and to see ways that we can improve in our using of it in our daily lives, in salads, and as we mentioned, drizzling it on other foods. It even can be used in cooking. We'd want to do some research on that, but we can put it in all sorts of things, and some are even okay to drink. So let's talk about consuming extra virgin olive oil. If we want to buy it, what are we looking for? Well, one of the main things that we want to start with is that olive oil is best when it's first produced. So we're looking for a freshness, and most of the labels should give us an idea of when it was harvested. This one was harvested in October, November of 2024. So it's roughly a year old, which is still good. If we can get it sooner, probably when I first got this, I've had this for a few months now. So that would have been really good to go through the bottle when I first got it. It's actually several months old now. The difference, though, we want to look for when it was pressed or harvested. We don't want to look for the best by. Most of our foods that we buy will say best used by a certain date. Not the same when it comes to olive oil, because the fresher, again, the better. The longer that it sits, it loses not only the taste, but also some of the benefits. So we want to look for the harvest date, and the newer that we can get, the fresher, the more benefit that we're going to get from it. And it makes a comment even on here, use within 4 to 5 weeks of opening. Now, I have another bottle over there, so I haven't opened this one yet, even though it's a few months that I've had it for. So that's something to keep in mind. We might think, oh, olive oil is fine and it's going to be, but even they recommend after you've opened it, 4 to 5 weeks. So that's gives us food for thought when we're taking this into consideration. Something else we want to keep in mind too is it'll usually let you know where it's from. Like this extra virgin olive oil is from California, and the olives are from California. And some you'll find when you look at it, they'll talk about several different countries, and it's best if it's sourced from one single area. So it's taking some investigation. It might be annoying to some that you just want to go in and grab a bottle, but when we're looking for something that's going to keep us healthy, that's an important thing. Excuse me. Something that's good with this one is that it's a dark bottle. Some other things to keep in mind, we don't want to get plastic bottles because the plastic can leach over time into the oil. We want it to be dark. If it's clear, then light it's going to deteriorate its benefits and going to affect the taste as well. So we don't want plastic, and we want it in a dark container. Something else that is highlighted with that, we want to make sure that it's in a uses the term an opaque metal tin. Dark glass bodies or opaque tins, the light exposure accelerates the degradation of olive oil. So that's a key component. We want to keep it in a cool, dark environment, usually tucked away in some cupboard that's not going to have heat and light affecting it. And again, make sure that we know where it's coming from. And so even when we're talking about a size, I haven't opened this one because we have a smaller one that we're still using. So I'm learning as I'm bringing this to your attention. I'm learning myself. I should have had the other one gone by now. And so even when I open this, we're going to want to make sure that take care of that quickly. And if you ever taste an olive oil and it tastes musty, stale, or waxy, it's signs that it's spoiled or been oxidized, maybe starting to go rancid. So we don't want to assume that just because it's extra virgin olive oil that it's good forever. We want to use it up in a timely fashion, and that's where I'm going to get to my goal. Well, actually, one more point. Extra virgin olive oil is expensive to produce. So if we're finding our extra virgin olive oil in the bargain basement prices on it, it's probably not a very good quality olive oil. So some of the things that I've seen that have talked about from $15 all the way up to $40. Obviously, you can get even more expensive versions of it, but don't want to be looking for the bargains because it might not be the best ones available. And for our health is worth it. We probably blow lots of money on things that aren't good for our health, that aren't important. So if something that's important to our health, we should be willing to spend a little bit more when we talk about that. So at the very beginning, I talked about Greece, Spain, and Italy, how much olive oil that they consume. Talked a little bit that here in the United States, 1 bottle a year. My goal is I'm going to try to consume 1 bottle a month. So this is a bigger bottle, so I think I'm starting good. I want to consume 1 bottle, and personally, I'm going to be looking into the Greek extra virgin olive oil. That's what I'm going to be purchasing next, and I'm going to try to do 1 bottle every month, which will give me 12 for the year. That's still only half of what our Mediterranean friends are consuming, but I'll see how it affects me and how I feel, and even my numbers. And we'll see from after that. We'll see if we can go up to 2 bottles a month, but we'll start here and then see how that works. So please leave a comment, your favorite extra virgin olive oil, how much you consume, any other thoughts or opinions that you have on it, and encourage you to smash the like button, subscribe. I'm going to leave you one tip before I go, something that I had recently on my testosterone video, but I learned it recently. 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, a teaspoon of honey, and a small handful of pumpkin seeds or crushed almonds about 40 minutes before we go to bed. It's supposed to be beneficial in boosting our testosterone levels, and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil every night will help me go a long way in consuming my monthly bottle of extra virgin olive oil. So hopefully this proved helpful for you. Again, encourage you to subscribe, and we'll be talking about other things that we can do in the future to help our health span. But encourage you to exert yourself to elevate your health and evolve in mind and body. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.